Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Sparkles, for that cup of tea. Absolutely wonderful timing. How is everyone doing? Welcome to Lazy Mini Painting. It's the second time we're here today because we have the missions and the lore and the stories to go over from issues 69 and 70, which also gives us the full Combat Patrol rules for the Genestealer cults. I think we only have one unit left to come, which is the Attilan Rough Riders. I think we'll find out eventually. I didn't find the little guy's arm from this morning, so what I've done is I've used the sight from a Space Marine bolt gun, cut part of it off, and popped another arm on it. Good afternoon, Evelyn. Thank you for coming to join me. I hope you've had a good day. This morning we put together the Goliath Rock Grinder, so we now have a couple of guys to glue in, but we're going to glue them in after painting, if I get round to painting. That's unless it goes to somebody else beforehand, in which case you have a slightly customised model, because this hand is not a standard hand, and nor is it the standard joystick. Everything else is how it's supposed to be though, so that is all good, and I've finished gluing it all together because I figured I might as well, otherwise I might lose something. So that's been built from this morning, which was what you got with the 2 issues, and now it's going to go into the collect section. Graham, thank you for coming in. I had a bit of a chat with Beaky today after the stream, and as happy as he was that we named the Hairy Potato after him, he thought there was more deserving people. And seeing as you've been sending me gnome videos, you're now the Hairy Tater, mate. Graham is the Hairy Tater, so he's no longer Buzzard, it is Graham. Graham's the Hairy Tater. Good evening, Joey. I'm not in the Midlands, I'm Northwest. I'm not in the Midlands, which is just bizarre, really, because I thought you knew that. You know, you've flown into Manchester. I thought you knew I was in the Northwest. But I'll correct you quite happily. So yes, we have Nick, we have Mandy, and we have Graham now as the 3 Ninja Potatoes. You're the hairy Ninja Tater, Graham, the hairy Ninja Tater, not the half-shaved Ninja Tater. You've got the full everything. Yeah, you've been left in the bottom of the bag for 3 months. You started growing things. I have a quick sip of my tea to help hydrate. And as people come in, and I've got to go check my phone to come and join people on portrait mode, which for some reason it's not giving me access to this time. This morning, fine, not a problem. It gave me portrait mode and said, yeah, you can go have a look at that, go join that, straight up, no problem. Hopefully there is a link in the portrait mode for those people who wish to join. We've got True Biker, hello. Naomi Frick, hello. Blackzilla, welcome back, man. Welcome back. Thank you very much for coming to join us. Mickey, thank you very much as well. And have I missed everybody? That's everybody else. Blackzilla, please stop. Please don't do that, because if Ali comes in, she will just time you out. Rebecca, hello. Thank you very much for coming to join me. I'm gonna come and join you all on the portrait mode on my phone, so I can actually see all the everything. Theo, well, earplugs were invented for a reason, Theo, don't worry. Thank you very much, Mickey. Thank you very much indeed. So shall we get started? Well, I should put it up so I can see both streams. Really, that would that would be a good start, wouldn't it? So I can see both of them and I can read both chats. I can only read one small one. And that makes two of us, Rebecca. That makes two of us. I'm ridiculously small. 4 years and I've still not got to where people can get within months. It's a weird one. Mickey, he's 42. He's 42. Right, so that's nice and up and running. So I can keep an eye on the actual stream. I can see both chats now. Let's get started with the lore sections, or at least the background. So we built the Goliath Rock Grinder. As usual, it gives us an option to give us some background on our Goliath Rock Grinder. So, tough enough to withstand the rigors of mining, the Goliath Rock Grinder is a potent and devastating, if somewhat improvised, assault vehicle, capable of shielding its crew from weapons fire as surely as from rock falls. It is ideal for getting into the heart of the action and crushing foes under its drill dozer blade, which is that great big whopping thing there at the front seat. Lots of blades, lots of blades. Good evening, Ali. Good evening. My sound? Abdul, what's up with my sound? Now, sometimes there is a little bit of an odd thing because my computer goes like really, really loud at certain points. And my mic is quite near my PC. I hope it picks me up quite well. If I'm too loud, I'm sorry. I have turned my gain down to minus 16 decibels, so I can't really pull it down any further than that. But please, if it's bearable, please stay with me. And hopefully I'll be loud enough and I'll talk enough that you won't be able to tell the difference. So to choose the background for our Goliath Rock Grinder, we will either choose one or roll a d6. If you want to choose, you can either have it as 1 or 2 if you'd have rolled. And this Goliath Rock Grinder crew stole a whole fleet of Imperial mining vehicles and kept the best ones to fight with themselves. Sounds like orky thing to do. If you roll 3 or 4, this Goliath Rock Grinder crew have absolute faith in their vehicle and happily drive straight into the fiercest fighting on the battlefield. Also sounds very much like an orc. And the final one, if you roll a 5 or a 6, or if you are just choosing, this Goliath Rock Grinder crew are very protective of their dismounted brothers and sisters and will always try to shield them with the vehicle. That's a little bit more Imperium. That is a little bit more Imperium. So that's the 3 backgrounds it suggests you give for your Goliath Rock Grinder. And you can choose or roll, it's entirely up to you. However, on the other side, we do actually learn what this Goliath Rock Grinder does. We get a data sheet. Thank you, Abdul, for subscribing. I also believe, Rebecca, did you say you subscribed? Oh, no, I'm Mickey. Somebody said they subscribed. It was Mickey. Thank you very much, Mickey, also for subscribing. So we now have a data sheet for the Goliath Rock Grinder. Problem is, this is backwards because I haven't figured out how to make this one turn the right way around like I managed with this one, and this is only 720p, whereas this is 1080. So I'd like to be able to balance them out if I could, but they're not working at the moment. Oh well. So this is the data sheet where all the information you need for your unit in games of Combat Patrol are recorded. You receive a data sheet for each unit in Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol Collection, which we do have one up there already, just next to my PC. File this data sheet away safely so we can use it in future scenarios. Yeah, okay, we will. We will file it away eventually. So, a Goliath Rock Grinder. Now, it comes with a clearance incinerator, heavy demolition charges, or should I say demolition charge cache, and a heavy stubber as its ranged weapons, and it has a drill dozer blade for its melee weapons. So, clearance incinerator ignores cover and torrent are its 2 special rules. So that's this big one up here. The great big whopping gun. See a massive one there, great big flamer. Can't really miss it. In fact, I could take it off and show it just as easy, couldn't I? Because it does come off. So that's the incinerator. It's 12-inch range. 2d6 is the volume of shots that it has, and it automatically hits with it being a torrent weapon. Strength 6, which is not bad actually, is wounding Space Marines on a 3. It's even wounding some of the heaviest armoured elites on 3s as well. Good evening, Twisted. Welcome in, mate. Welcome in. I hope you've had a good day so far. So strength 6, not bad. Minus 1 AP and 1 damage. So it can stack up particularly on infantry. So light infantry is just going to mow through quite easily. The demolition charge cache. Now that has the assault rule, blast rule, and the hazardous rule. But it's got a very, very short range. It's only got a 6-inch range. But seeing as you've got a big drill dozer blade, you've got to be wanting to run it up into the midboard. And if it's got any form of transport, then it's going to help with that as well. So 6-inch range. It's a D6 plus 3, but because it's got the blast word, you get to add +1s to it for every 5 units. Every 5 models in a unit, so you can get quite a few shots out of that. Hitting on a 5+. So not overly reliable, so you could do with a 6 on that D6 roll just to make it a 9 shot. So you've got a chance of hitting. Whopping, massive, huge strength 12. That's wounding most things on 4s, 3s, or 2s. It's got to be very little that doesn't equal or beat. Minus 2 AP, so that's extra good against the armors. So Space Marines come down to 5s, which is nice. Even Terminator armor comes down to its invulnerable save, and then 2 damage each. So that can pump out some quite severe some damage to anything it can get close to. It's got really close with that 6-inch range though. And the final one, which is this chappy here, the one with no legs. I guess that's it. This is the heavy stubber. Now this is the lighter of the three guns that it has, but also the longer range. So it's a 36-inch range with a rapid fire 3. So if you can get it into 18, you get an extra 3 shots, which it already has 3 shots anyway, so it doubles. Hitting on 4s, strength 4, no AP and damage 1. So again, just volume of shots that you can throw in just to try and chip away 1 or 2 more wounds. Obviously better against lighter infantry. Gonna have to be lucky against if you tanks or anything if you're firing against them, because you're gonna need 6s to wound. They're gonna get full armor and you're only getting one damage through. But if they've only got 1 wound left out of that 6 wound unit and everything else it only takes 1 to go through. So that's a fun one. It does have the damaged rule, so it's only got 1, 2, 3 wounds remaining out of its 10. It does have 10 wounds. Then you subtract 1 from each hit roll, so that makes the demolition charge really hard to hit, hitting on 6s. Heavy stubber hitting on 5s. Killdozer blade, which does have sustained hits 1 for its melee, 6 attacks, hitting on 3s or 4s if you're really damaged as a vehicle. Strength 10, which again not bad at all, minus 2 AP and 2 damage. So it's pretty good in close combat as well. It's not, for a vehicle, it's quite alright all round actually. That is a nice vehicle. 12-inch move, toughness 10, 3+ save, 10 wounds, a leadership of 7 and an OC of 3. It does have the deadly demise D3. So if it does go kaboom, it can take some of your units out with D3 mortal wounds, but it's not guaranteed to go kaboom. So you can play about with it a little bit. So that is the Rock Grinder, which is quite a substantial little vehicle, especially in the light, fast kind of hit and run guerrilla tactic army that is the Genestealer cults. Yes, Yes, hello, I'm Vienna, hello, welcome in. And PH1488, yes, I am going to be reading Warhammer. I'm going to go through the few campaigns that you get with the Combat Patrol magazine first, and then I'll be going into the stories and lore that they give you with it as well. So we've got a few rules, a few little missions that'll pretty much you can just talk through, because if you've collected the magazine you will have the missions and you'll be able to run it yourself, and that is the best idea I have. Yeah. No problem, Ellie. Thank you for calling and you have a good night. Thank you very much for coming in to see us, and for being in both horizontal and portrait mode. You are my moderator who turns up every time, and I thank you for it so much, which is why I had no qualms at all giving you the fan favourite Purple Bunny and naming it after you. Graham's still the airy spud though. Yep. Can you do a shameless plug for it? It depends. If you want a link to your channel, give me the link to your channel and I can put it up actually in the chat so people can click it. If you just want to type in, then feel free. Yeah, you can go through. Jonathan, welcome in, mate. Welcome in. Nice to see you back, as well as everybody else. Obviously, I like all my viewers that come back and come and see me and say hello and chat, and it's good. It's good. I like it. It does derail me completely, but I still like it. So, for campaign in this mission they are going to give us Orcs versus Genestealer Cults. Now, the Genestealer Cult bit I'm not reading out 4 or 5 times because it's going to be the same every time. They have one mission on this planet, and that is to make sure that the Tyranids come and nom 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 and have a good buffet. And Orcs just want to fight. But I will read it out first time round, and I will read out the opponents in each one and explain the basics of the mission that they will be using. So for this one, the Genestealer Cults will always respond aggressively to any disruption of their carefully orchestrated plans. And few things in the galaxy cause more chaos than the arrival of a rambunctious horde of orcs. Oh no, that's one way to seriously mess up your plans. There you go, Vienna. I believe Ali's already popped it in there for you. Spader Manavenga. I mean, I look after myself reasonably well, but thank you very much for your care and concern. Please don't type in all caps though, because that generally means that you tried to shout at us. Well, we're not deaf. We're just a little bit slow, some of us. Well, me mostly. So for the Orcs versus Genestealer Cults mission, they want you to use, in this case, Core Mission 1. It's just standard Core Mission 1. That's good. So that is your standard map 1. And you will set up objective markers. But you're playing the long edges first rather than the short edges. You're not playing, so you've got a shorter no man's land, only a 20-inch no man's land. And from the very centre of the board, you measure 6 inches towards each person's deployment zone and put one objective marker, and then 10 inches along the centre line directly across the middle of no man's land. 10 inches from the centre of either side you put the 3rd and 4th objective markers. Then those are what you're fighting over essentially. You got to score victory points so for your secondary and primary objectives to win that battle. No, Red Rose, Graham. Red Rose. We know this. I'm not doing too bad, Jonathan. I'm not doing too bad. This is my second stream today, and my first one took 3 hours, and I didn't sleep well last night. So we'll see how we go. And we'll see how we get through this. Hopefully I'm not going to bang my head too much on the overhead camera now that I've moved it and changed it over so it's a higher quality, but it's reversed. Yeah, just not figured out how to make it go around the right way yet, but I will eventually, I hope. Or I'll get another one of these or something similar that will run at 1080p, possibly 4K if I can, which is annoying because this camera that you look at me on is a 4K camera, but it won't register as anything higher than 720p on Streamlabs. Don't ask, I do not understand. You've got 20,000 on Snake. Snake's a game I've not played for years. Not played since I had a Nokia. And yes, hashtag sidetrack Graham very, very easily. Right, because Graham put hashtag sidetrack, I'm going to not get sidetracked. I'm going to read this bit now. So, the secretive hosts of the Genestealer cults have long infiltrated the sparsely populated planets of this system. It has taken generations working in clandestine fashion to reach this precipice. The time for subterfuge has passed. It is time to throw off the shackles of their imperial oppressors and welcome the arrival of the Star Children. However, a violent uprising does not go unnoticed, even amidst the mayhem of endless war. Genestealer cult's reason for fighting. That's fine. The Arks, meanwhile, in the Legion of Doom, a band of Arks have been drawn to the bloodshed and instability of the area. In the hopes of attracting more Arks to his horde, the war boss is seeking the biggest fights against the hardest enemies he can find. Without any particular plan in mind, they are happy to take the opportunity to fight any enemies, loot any stuff, or smash up anything that someone else has built. Some of them have their fingers crossed that they might be able to do all three at once. Yeah, I intend to, Jonathan, and thank you for coming off what you was doing. I feel slack. Thank you. You stopped what you were doing to come and listen to me. That's nice. Thank you very much. Now, as these campaigns work, they run in 3 sets. And earlier on, like really earlier on, we got a sheet to mark off who's phase 2 and who's won and who lost, so you can run campaigns for yourself. Obviously, a campaign for the Genestealer cults means that the Tyranids turn up, the mind control gets turned off, they realise, oh crap, we messed up, and then they get turned into lunch. Nice. If the Orcs win, well, they just pillage everything, they loot everything, they crump everything, and they just have a damn good time while they're doing it. And restock themselves. Then go looking for the next big fight. So if that was your first or second victory with the Genestealer cults, you will then proceed on to the next mission, which is against the Leagues of Votann. So in this one we are going to be using Core Mission 2. So rather than deploying across the long edges, you're going to deploy across the short edges and have a larger no man's land. You see that? So the no man's land is going to be 24 inches, 12 inches from the centre line. Then from the very centre spot you measure 8 inches in each direction and place the central line objectives. But in this one, you both start with an objective within your deployment zone. So rather than it being 12 inches from the very centre, it's 14 inches. So you get 2 inches within your deployment zone, so you can claim an objective straight from the beginning. Both defender and attacker. So it pretty much is fighting over those two, really. Fight over those two and defend the one that you've got. So we know what the Genestealer cults are up to. They're planning the uprising so they can be a buffet. We know this. Yeah, Vienna. Some of these armies, basically, there are no good guys in Warhammer 40,000. The closest thing you're going to get to good guys are the orcs, and that's because they're the only ones that are happy in the galaxy, because they want to go out and fight every day with something. Tyranids, not so much bad, but definitely not good, because they want to eat all forms of biomass. Necrons want to destroy all forms of biomass, so it doesn't exist and everything's just them. And everybody else are just xenophobic nutters, really. Becomes quite interesting. So we know that the Genestealer cults are waiting for the Star Children to become a buffet. We know this. But the Leagues of Votann, we've not heard about them this time. So, meanwhile, in the Legion of Doom, meanwhile, the warriors of the Leagues of Votann have arrived in this system recently and already begun to exploit it for its abundant natural resources. While Herdkin scouts scour the system to find the most promising leads, other forces set out to engage hostile enemies and defend the mining operation. But the sudden arrival of so many heavily armoured troops does not go unnoticed, and soon they find their space awash with potential challengers, enemy scouts and opportunistic raiders. In this case being the Genestealer cults trying to nick some of their tech. It's not good. Yes, Jonathan. We can try to help you. Yes, Vienna. There is only war. There is only war in Warhammer 40,000. But I can try and help you, Jonathan, if you wish. Let me know what it is. And in the meanwhile, Twisted Nerve Painting is breaking out the hairdryer. I'm hoping it's to dry his hair. But you never know, it might just be to warm his feet. I have done that. Again, if that is your first or second victory with either the Leagues of Votann or the Genestealer cults, then you will proceed to the next mission with any of the combat patrols that you have full. So you can Space Marines, Tyranids, Eldari, Orcs, Chaos, Space Marines. That's five armies you can throw them against to complete your second or third campaign mission to win your campaign victory. If you win your campaign victory completely with Genestealer cults, as I said, all you can eat buffet for the Tyranids. Awesome. They are really happy with that. If it's a campaign victory for the Leagues of Votann, they have fended off all the scouts and the other races that are trying to claim stake to the mines, the resources, and they are now putting full force of the kin behind them, and they are going to mine and strip this planet for every resource it's worth. Alright, so yes, your feet are numb today, but you use it to cure varnish. The hairdryer is to cure varnish. Fair enough. It works. You can't argue with that. It does work. So those are the two campaigns that we got in issue 69, which obviously next issue would have been the rest of Rock Grinder, which we already have, and then next week's issue, which is issue 71, is the Cadian Command Squad, which I do need another one. I only have 2 and I would like 3. So more Cadian Command Squad, please. Thank you very much. Moving on to the play section of issue 70. Now this gives us what should consist of the full combat patrol of the Genestealer cult, so it tells everything we're getting. See, crocheting's a skill and a half. I can't crochet, so I would be quite happy to learn how to do that. I know Sparkles wants to learn how to crochet, so if I could learn, maybe she could learn, because she's struggling with the setups, I think. So maybe we can do a bit of a collab, Vienna. You teach me how to crochet, I teach you how to paint a model. Who knows? Something we can think about, maybe. For a full combat patrol of Genestealer cults, it tells us it consists of, well, let's start from the top, shall we? Pouring up from the Nikol Consortium undermines of Lasmar 3. These This twisted horde of gene-stealer cultists seek to throw off the chains of their imperial oppressors. They are led by the cunning Magus, who has forged a ragtag collection of mutants, monsters, and stolen mining equipment into a powerful army of rebellion. The Magus' warriors are fanatically loyal, and would follow her even unto their own destruction. Given their likely eventual fate, this may be fortunate. So a standard combat patrol, full combat patrol for these consists of one Magus as your leader, equipped with auto pistol and mega stave. 2 units of neophyte hybrids. One of them, the leader, is equipped with an auto pistol, a leader pistol, and a power weapon. There are 5 neophyte hybrids equipped with auto pistol, hybrid firearm, and close combat weapon. 1 hybrid is equipped with an auto pistol, a hybrid firearm, and a close combat weapon with the cult icon as well. With the cult icon. See you later, Graham. You go get yourself some rest. Because you're not feeling well and you're not well. So, go get some rest. Leave me for ASMR if you want. Log me out if you want. It's entirely up to you. But please go get some rest. Japanese style. I'm not sure what Japanese style crocheting is though. Let's see what Jonathan wanted to. So my girl came back earlier and I thought that I might surprise her with chocolates and roses, and she loved it. Then we went out and I accidentally got into a fight and I said something you shouldn't have. Oh dear. And now she's super mad at you and I don't know what to do and to make it right. Yeah, write a letter to her. Be truthful, be honest, be apologetic. Most arguments you can work through if both parties are willing. Just talk to her. If you realise you are in the wrong, admit you're in the wrong. If you can't figure out why you're in the wrong, let's face it, as men we usually end up admitting we're wrong anyway, just to make the peace. It's just what we do. So yeah, write a note. If you can't do it face to face and do it through words, if you write the note out, hand her the note, stand there while she reads it so she can see your expressions and see your remorse for the things that you've done, and fingers crossed you'll come through okay on the other side, mate. But that is some good advice there from Vienna. Write a note if you can't do it in words. Sidetracked again, sorry. Where was it up to? Oh yeah, we've just done the cult icon, haven't we? There is another neophyte hybrid equipped with an auto pistol and a heavy stubber, which is fun. You get 3 special weapons in this. You've got a neophyte hybrid with an auto pistol, a seismic cannon, and a close combat weapon. That's your big one. That's the one that you want. Don't argue with her. Don't argue. Don't argue. She's gonna shout and whinge and yeah, and if you genuinely think you've done something wrong, then don't argue because they're in the right. Oh shit, we have the legend in horizontal view, people. We have the one, the only, the Blake TV. How are you doing, man? How are you doing? You're still in work at this time. You've got to be. But yeah, been too long. You want the collab cam? You say so. You get it. I'll even put up with the fact that I can hear my own voice and it puts me off. Yeah, don't try to win. We never win. Men never win the arguments, or very, very rarely. So just don't try. Just try and smooth it over and make things right, rather than it's not a win or lose situation. It's a compromise situation, so everybody's happy. Okay, I've just nearly down my brew. I must have been thirsty. Oh, I got one cut. Fair enough. Fair enough. I look forward to that arriving. And that is going to be a whole new project, which everyone is going to get to look forward to. I'm looking forward to it. I'm also very, very nervous about that project. And it is going to be completely different to what I normally do. I do heroic scale models. And, well, apparently I won't be getting one. I'm going to be getting a scale model. Nervous. But I'm going to do the best I can. And practice more and do even better of it. Pardon me, and do even better than the best I can if possible. Sorry, we've got one more guy to go through because the two Neophyte hybrid squads, the 10-man squads, are the same. But one more guy in the unit, which is the guy with the Weber gun. So we have the seismic cannon, which is this weird thing here, and we have the Weber gun, which is there. We have two full 10-man units of them. That is awesome. We also have a 5-man model of Acolyte hybrids. Now this comes with a leader with an auto pistol, two hybrids that are equipped with auto pistol, claws and a knife, one hybrid that is equipped with demolition charges, claws and a knife, and one Acolyte hybrid which is equipped with the heavy mining tool. Now the heavy mining tool is basically the big circular blades to cut through. Just zzz, and yeah, not something you want to be close by to, not at all. On top of that, we do get another 5-man squad, which are the Aberrants. Now these are the big mutated ones that just want to go crunch, crunch, crunch. It says comes with one Aberrant hypermorph equipped with heavy improvised weapon and hypermorph tail, which an improvised weapon in this case is a signpost with a huge lump of concrete still attached to the bottom, or plasticrete, or whatever they call it in Warhammer 40,000. I can't remember what they build stuff out of now. And then 4 equipped with heavy power weapons. No, they're not 4 equipped with heavy power weapons. They give you enough to give 2 hammers, and the others have to have 2 picks, and that's not right. And finally, we get the Goliath Rock Grinder, which is obviously equipped with its clearance incinerator, the demolition charge cache, heavy stubber, and the drill dozer blade. And that makes up then the full combat patrol for Genestealer Cults. We'll get another unit, which they always seem to give us, one more unit so we can swap something out for something else. In this case, I think it's going to be the Rock Grinder for the fast people on bikes, when we get them in about 3 issues. But that brings us to, well, it actually shows us all here, that's good. So there we go, we have the Magus down at the front here. Very slender, very feminine. We have A and B, which are B and C, which are the 2 10-man almost humans. We've got D, which are the definitely not humans but want a bit more pew 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 going on. Good luck, Jonathan. Good luck. It's a difficult one. Relationships are hard and you have to compromise a lot. So it is a difficult one to go through, but good luck with that, mate. We also have so these are the pew 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 more mutated ones, and these are the smacky 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 more mutated ones. You see big hammers, chunk of concrete there with its signpost, and of course the Goliath Rock Grinder. I've not painted any of them up yet because I don't know what I'm going to paint them up as. I don't necessarily want to use that colour scheme because it's very, very grey and light, and I'm not overly keen on it in fairness. So let's find out what happens with scenario 43. Grind all opposition. Sounds fun. Yeah, let's get them in the meat grinder. So using Battle Mat 3, which still has the 8 sections, you've got far too sections here, which are the opposition's deployment zone, and you will be using the Goliath Rock Grinder, which gets deployed in the middle of this section of 4 little panels, right in the middle there. To play Grind All Opposition, settle your battle mat as shown below and then follow the deployment instructions. The game ends when the Genestealer Cult's models are destroyed or when each wave has been destroyed. The final score is indicated on the scoring tracks. The scoring track and the stage table are on the next page. They will be needed regularly, so keep them to hand. How to play this mission? Each time an opposition unit is destroyed, the Genestealer Cult's player advances to the next stage, moving further along the scoring track on the next page. When the game ends, the final score is indicated by the highest stage that the game advanced to. So if you can do it quickly, the Genestealer Cults win, I think. No, I think if you can survive, the Genestealer Cults are going to win, and if you can do it quickly, the other ones are going to win. Nafal. Why is the stream is mirrored? Because I've switched my cameras round, because this one can get 1080p out of it, but it's switched. This one can only get 720, so you can't see as well. So when it comes to reading, yeah, it being switched, pain in the ass. Painting, not so much. So I'm going for the 1080, the higher resolution for the painting side. It just happens to fall down when I'm doing reading, sadly. If I've tried, I mean, there isn't even a button on it, so I can even do that, but it just flips it, and even when I try and rotate it, it doesn't work. I was playing about with it yesterday and today, and I just can't get it to. I can get it to flip vertically, I just can't get it to flip horizontally. It's annoying. So deployment for this mission, let's see how we go. The Genestealer Cult's players places their Goliath Rock Grinder in the location shown, and then places one unit of 10 neophyte hybrids within 6 inches of the Goliath Rock Grinder. Oh, so you're getting more than just a Rock Grinder, that's not too bad. The opposition player consults the table on the next page and places the stage 1 models in the opposition deployment zone. Then the players take it in turns to each place 2 terrain features on the battlefield. Finally, the opposition player takes the first turn in this scenario. So it doesn't actually give us any indication of what terrain pieces we can use. It just says pick 2 terrain pieces, so you can pick impassable, you can pick something that you can walk up into and use as barricades. It is entirely up to you what you choose. Vienna, worried is a bit much. Concerned, yes. You can't do much about it, so there isn't much point in worrying. However, being concerned is a natural human thing. To see somebody going like, I'm having a bit of trouble, I hope you get through it. Concerned is a better mental state than worried, and it's Twisted Nurse Painting who taught me that. So by all means, please be concerned is good, but worrying is not good for your own mental state. So deep breath, you'll get through it. Learning curve, I've been through it, you've been through it, many other people have been through relationship issues. You only really find out through experience and learning. So best of luck to him, but we do what we can, and it's really up to him and his partner from there. So what do we start with the opposition? Because we know we've got 10 hybrids and a Goliath Rock Grinder for the Genestealer Cults. So stage 1 for the enemy is 3 Hearthkin Warriors. Stage 2 is 2 Ironhair Hearthguard. Stage 3 is 1 Khal. Stage 4 is 3 Orc Boys. Stage 5 is 2 Deathcopters. Stage 6 is the Boomdacker Snazwagon. Jeez. Stage 7 is 3 Infernus Marines. Stage 8 are 2 Terminators. So we're getting a bit close to taking damage on here. Stage 9 would be 1 Chaplain, and stage 10, Chaplain on a bike, and stage 10 is the Terminator Captain for the Space Marines. So stage the table. Each time an opposition unit is destroyed, the game advances to the next stage. This table shows which units should be deployed during the opposition player's command phase to replace the unit that was destroyed. If the Genestealer cults destroy 2 units in a single turn, then the game advances by 2 stages immediately. If this happens, the opposition player should deploy the units from each of those 2 stages during their next command phase. Newly deployed units must be placed in the opposition deployment zone at least 9 inches away from any Genestealer cult's units. So each time an opposition unit is destroyed, the Genestealer cult's player advances to the next stage. You will need to. So is that saying that if I kill 1 Hernkin warrior, 2 Ironhair Hearthguard are going to turn up, or I've got to wipe out all 3? I think I've got to wipe out all 3. But that kind of makes it sound like you could wipe out one of them, bring in that unit, then wipe out one of them, and bring in 2 more units. So you might end up with 1 Hearthkin warrior, 1 Ironhair Hearthguard, a Carl, and 3 Orc boys all on the table coming at you at once. That's going to be hectic. How do we keep track of the scoring? Well, that is down here, and it is quite easy. As the Genestealer cult advances through the stages, the Genestealer cult player's points increase while the opposition player's points decrease. The final score is determined by the highest stage that the Genestealer cults have advanced to. For example, if the Genestealer cult's units are destroyed after advancing to stage 6, the Genestealer cultist player scores 6 points and the opposition player scores 5. Genestealer cults win. 1 stage earlier, it will be a draw, because they both. Oh no! So stage 5, it will be the opposite way around. The opposition will score 6, and the Genestealer cults will score 5. So the longer you go, better for Genestealers. Quicker it goes, better for the opposition. So tutorials on how to use damage vehicles. The Goliath Rockgrinder has a mighty 10 wounds. There's stuff out there with more. But this is just a vehicle, so it's not like it's a Titanic raw. You're just a nana. I'm not a granddad at the moment. I'm quite glad to say that. I still have children though, so yeah. I'm just a strange person on the internet who happens to be a dad as well. Don't worry, Vienna, we're all a bit odd, especially the people that turn up here. And the guy behind the camera, he's weirdest of all. Complete freak. Oh yeah, that's me. Never mind. So with a toughness of 10 and a 3+ save, this alone makes it a terrifying presence on the battlefield and very difficult to damage. However, many vehicles in the games of Warhammer 40,000 and Combat Patrol become less effective as they are dealt damage. When the Goliath Rockgrinder has between 1 and 3 wounds remaining, you must subtract 1 from its hit rolls. You can quickly check if a unit has a damaged ability on its datasheet by looking at its wounds characteristic. If there is a small skull underneath it, this tells you that the unit has a damaged ability on its datasheet. So looking at the wounds characteristic there, let's bring it in. See, it's got a little little skull underneath it. That means it's, once you've gone down so far, it's got to take the -1 to hit. The Deadly Demise Reminder, which is a good one because I needed that. In the chaotic battles of the 41st millennium, vehicles and war machines are liable to explode in fiery infernos when they are destroyed. Yay! So much fun. When your unit with Deadly Demise is destroyed, before removing it from the battlefield, roll a d6. On a 6, it go kaboom. It explodes. It goes boom. Yeah. Every unit, friend or enemy, within 6 inches is caught in the blast and takes a number of mortal wounds equal to the value shown next to the ability. Rolling the damage dice for each unit separately. In this example, the Neophyte hybrids, which are the little purple ones here. And what's that? Take 1 mortal wound with a roll of 2. And the Death Copter, which is this one here, takes 3 mortal wounds on a roll of a 5. So these only actually lose 1 guy. This, I believe, gets wiped out completely unless it's got 4 wounds. But they both get hit, friend or foe. So this is going to have slightly different victory and defeat conditions. So a cult's defeat. With the Goliath Rock Grinder and its crew left in a smoking heap, their open rebellion stands threatened. Now those opposing the will of the Patriarch and the 4-armed Emperor will no doubt increase their vigilance, alert to their presence and whatever else they may be lurking in the shadows. A cult's victory, however, the Goliath Rock Grinder and its crew cut down the enemy with ease in a storm of bullets and deadly dozer blades. The cult's influence over this world grows, and a full-scale rebellion can take place. Weakening the enemy forces on this world will no doubt have tightened the grip of their Patriarch upon the planet's populace. Not very nice kitties, really, are they? They don't want a lot. They just want everybody to sit there and do what they want them to do. It's not much, is it? It is. They want everyone to get nom-nommed, and not everyone wants to get nom-nommed. So those are the rule sections. Rule sections done. Now we have read sections. Now read sections are the bits that I enjoy more than the rule sections in this, because the rule sections are a little bit boring to read. I like reading the stories. I do like reading the stories. So story 1, which I believe so all the first stories are going to be all about the Genestealer cults. The Cult of the 4-Armed Emperor. Founded by the Trist dynasty of Gosar Quintus, the cult of the 4-Armed Emperor has since grown to become a terrifying hidden enemy that has spread across half the galaxy. The cult has tendrils of shadowy influence buried deep in many imperial worlds and remains an ever-present existential threat to humanity. The cult of the 4-Armed Emperor is perhaps one of the most insidious hidden threats that humanity and the galaxy has ever faced. In a galaxy consistently at war, they cunningly exploit the Imperium's desperate need for labour to support its war machine. They position their clandestine cultists in indispensable industrial workers, allowing them to spread all across Imperial space. The ranks of the cult of the 4-Armed Emperor live and work for generations under the nose of Imperial authorities, posing as expert miners and subterranean explorers. As a result, the Imperium are often left unaware of the fatal threat swelling beneath their feet for over decades. The unforgiving, grueling work that the cult members undertake allows them to thrive and adapt to the dark environs over generations, giving the cultists a honed killing edge when an uprising truly begins. Food? Yeah. Expert underminers. When it is time for the cult to declare themselves and wage open war, the forces of their oppressors find once secure caches missing weapons and ammunition, vehicles stolen or immobilized, and checkpoints sabotaged, overrun or rigged to blow. After all, cult leaders have often had years before their uprising begins to gain access to restricted building schematics and an intricate understanding of Imperium mining networks, as well as power and influence within local governance. More often than not, a Genestealer cult has won the war long before open hostilities even take place. Yeah, they do a lot of prep work. Suffer not the alien to live. While the cultist rebellion upon the world of Gosar Quintus was discovered and quelled by Captain Artan Cassius and his Deathwatch kill team, the victory itself was a hollow one. The ruling Trist dynasty had long been corrupted, and the world was a hive of Xenos activity. Shipping holographs extracted from Gosar Quintus showed that the cult had splintered many times over and spread across the galaxy under the guise of legitimate mining operations at the behest of an unknowing Departamento Munitorum. They have to try and make fancy words, don't they? By the time Kill Team Cassius had discovered the damning truth, it was too late. Yeah, so Gosar Quintus. Gosar Quintus was the first world where confirmed Imperial agents engagements with the Genestealer cult took place. It was a strange series of reports from Inquisitor Chigrin in 680.M41 that brought the Get my tongue back in my mouth. Figure out how to speak. Welcome back, Jonathan. I hope you're doing alright, mate. I hope you've had a chance to think about this. Get it sorted in your head. Make sure it's alright. If you're writing it down, you can read through it, read it back, make sure it sounds how you want it to sound. Not as monotonous as I'm sounding reading this, because I get to difficult words and then I've got to try and figure out how to say it. It's not fun. So, where was he up to? Aha! Brought the Delver world under the unforgiving gaze of the Ardos Xenos in 608.M41. First, a series of missives were received from Chigrin reporting heretical behaviour, praise for a so-called four-armed emperor scrawled on the walls of the facility, and overseers chanting strange mantras. These were followed by a final communique that claimed all previous reports of Xenos activity were anomalous and no further investigation should take place. The matter fell into the Deathwatch, and ultimately, after Kill Team Exis 2 were lost investigating the Gosar anomaly, Chaplain Artan Cassius, the Xenos infestation had burrowed into the very heart of Gosar Quintus, and while Cassius and his battle brothers successfully expunged the alien threat and the Patriarch at its head, the damage was already done. In numbers uncounted, the cult of the four-armed Emperor had already spread across the galaxy. Cassius swore an oath to destroy the hated aliens all at once. I'm sorry, Jonathan. If you're lucky though, don't give up. There's got to be someone out there. You've learnt a lesson. Some things you don't take them out and then get into a fight. Especially after you've just given them roses and chocolates and been nice to them. Try not to get into an argument. Not always bloody easy though. Not always easy. But you never know, things might work themselves out. Or, if they don't, then deep breath, move on. Still got your life to lead and still a lot of fun to have. Oh, so it's not you've made up. You've made up. Fair enough. In which case, if you made up, that's awesome. That is excellent. It was quick. She's a fast reader, and you're a fast writer. But if it's all worked out for the good, it has all worked out for the good. So let's see what's happening for the last little bit on this section for the They're telling us about the information behind what's happening with this Gene Stealer cult. So in this section is called The Curse of Unreason. In 101.M40, the Space Hulk Curse of Unreason phased into real space close to the Gosrian system. Though bombarded by Imperial forces in an abundance of caution, debris from the vessel fell to the Gosar Quintus. There is little doubt that this vessel harboured Xenos life forms. So yeah, some of the Gene Stealers managed to come down in the broken things. I should have tried to atomize them in the upper atmosphere. Oh well. Mysterious disappearances. The final missive sent by Shagran and his subsequent disappearance led to the involvement of the Death Watch. Captain Cassius dispatched the five battle brothers of Kill Team Exis to Gosar Quintus to investigate. When contact with the team was abruptly ceased, they were presumed lost. Death Watch investigation. The Great Pit at the heart of the world was host to endless swarms of multi-limbed horrors that ambushed the warriors of the Death Watch at every turn. Fighting through wave after wave of alien creatures, Cassius himself eventually slew the Great Patriarch of Gosar Quintus. A terrifying legacy. While Kill Team Cassius successfully expunged Gosar Quintus's Xenos infestation, the cult of the Four-Armed Emperor had already spread across the Imperium. Cassius recognized this to be the beginning of a new war, one that may determine the fate of humanity. So it ain't over yet. They got off the planet, they've infected more worlds, and now they've got to go hunt them down and purge them. Next section. Oh, how long have I been going? I've been going for an hour and I've got 2 small pages and then 2 stories to read. So 2 fictions and 1 more about the faithful of the Star Children. As I did absolutely neck my cup of tea a minute ago, and I'm going to need another one. But before I do, I'm just going to see how Jonathan's going on. I also said that it was your fault, and she appreciated my honesty and the fact that see, we were right. It happens occasionally. We're just as shocked as you are, but we were right. Honesty in the relationship, though, is really important. It is really important. As happy as me and Sparkles are, we've had our own disagreements and falling outs, and she's even thrown me out for a night before now. But still getting married this year because we've worked through, and it takes work from both sides. But if you're both willing to, you can make it work. Before I finish off the faithful of the Star Children, and then move on to the 2 fun things that I'm waiting for, I really want to, because I'm going to get to do voices tonight. I'm going to get to do voices. It's going to be so fucking awesome. However, I'm going to go refill my cup because my throat is getting dry. I've already necked pretty much a pint of tea already. So I shall select some music. Blake, if you are listening, can I put the Stone Aces on? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? You are there. Now there are a couple that I would like to put up if I could, but I would like you to verify if I'm allowed to. If not, then I will nip to Arius Nation and just go through them. I believe so. I believe Vienna's still here. Let me just check to see if Vienna's joined the Discord, because that might be the better option. V. Unless Vienna's got a different name on Discord, she's not on Discord. But fingers crossed they are still here in chat. I hope they are still here in chat. It's got all sorts of bloody weird stuff going on Discord of different channels. It can go away. Close Discord. Don't want it. What has Blake said? What has Blake said? Blake has said nothing, not to inform me. So I'm going to have to go to Arius Nation, because I do not want to use anything from Blake's channel without his prior consent, which means we are back onto Starbound Pop Punk. I will be back soon, continuing doing reading. I just need to, get my throat.
through the midnight air. Every spark says we're almost there. Chasing lines that we can't define. Every step leaves the ground behind. All the weight just falls away. Every shadow turns to day. We've been running out of time, but the climb is worth the fight. We're rising where the stars ignite, breaking through the endless night. Whoa, we're starbound. Whoa, never found. Every doubt was a chain we wore, but we're not who we were before. Even flames couldn't pull us down. Every loss is a battleground. All the weight just falls away. Every shadow turns to day. We've been running out of time, but the climb is worth the fight. We're rising where the stars ignite, breaking through the endless night. Whoa, we're starbound. Whoa, never found. Through the silence, through the flame, we're reborn but not the same. Every fracture lights the sky. Every fall's another try. We're rising where the stars ignite, breaking through the endless night. Whoa, we're starbound. Whoa, never found,
Close YouTube, which is play the music, and turn my voice back on. That helps. Okay. Next one, Faithful of the Star Children. Thank you for anyone who's held on and is still here. I just realised I'm still showing top chat, not live chat, so I may be missing messages, and I hope not. It doesn't appear to, but you never know. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does. Hello again, Jonathan. Yes, I'm back, and we are going to continue with... Oh, if I move that, I can read that easier. I didn't know that. If I get rid of just the one box, I can see the two box one easier. Okay, I'm going to leave it like that now. That makes it better. It works. Faithful of the Star Children. He. Though united by their zealotry, the Genestealer cults across the Imperium vary greatly from world to world. Nobody knows how long the Genestealer cults have lurked amongst humanity's populations. All that can be said is with certainty is that the Genestealer cults, or Genestealer curse, has now spread too far and wide across the Imperium to be measured, let alone contained. The cults that arise are as varied as the worlds in which they infest. They blend their alien propensities with the vision of their patriarch and the customs and cultures of their host planet, so that each cult takes a new and monstrous form that is unique to them alone. My voice is echoing quite... oh no. Is that causing it? Is that causing it? That's muted. That's muted. Because desktop audio has not been muted. Thank you very much, Jonathan. I have to mute the desktop audio before I can just use the plain old just auxiliary. Let's find out about the different types of space. I don't want to show this page. This is the page I'm excited about. Not this page, the page after. So we have 4 examples of different Genestealer cults. We have the Rusted Claw. When all else rots, the cult alone will survive, as their motto. The Rusted Claw are tough survivalists and deadly fighters who congregate out on the wastelands around Imperial settlements. They are nomadic, moving from place to place so that they are always near to a new population that they can infest with the Genestealer curse. So they're hanging around in the wastelands, just skitting around getting all the fringe bits that they can. Very, very much guerrilla warfare out in the wastelands. You have the Bladed Cog, with the mantra of man, machine and alien in glorious unity. He's kind of going towards the Iron Hands type of thought process. The Bladed Cog took root on Feinmeister Gamma. There they meld Xenos genes with human bodies and cybernetic technologies to create a unique and fearsome force. They await the coming of a deity that they call the Clawed Omnissiah, a dreadful meld of Xenos flesh and robotic metal. Oh boy, are they going to be disappointed. They're just going to get Xenos flesh, and lots of it. Thirdly, is the Pauper Princes. From great sacrifice comes immortality, is their slogan, or them what they persevere towards. Even for a Genestealer cult, the Pauper Princes are frighteningly zealous. They believe in self-sacrifice and humility to the point of self-debasement and self-destruction. They are famous for their unthinking obedience and will happily throw their lives away to further their cause. So they're the start raving bleeding nutters. That's what they are. They are the absolute start raving nutters. Fair enough. And then, fourth and finally, we have the Twisted Helix. They who swallowed the bitterest pill. The cult of the Twisted Helix are all volunteers who willingly introduced the Genestealer curse into their population through medical experimentation. They leverage the Imperium's limited understanding of medical technology to continue spreading the curse. So these are doing it through medical means. Vaccinations, implants, things that can go slightly under the radar. And then, just slowly infect everybody and anybody who's willing to join up. Or unwilling if you just happen to go there because you've got a cold, you want some antibiotics. Genestealer cults are very, very sneaky little buggers. Very, very sneaky little buggers. Now to the story ones, and these are the ones I like because these are the ones that I get to play with more. We have more about the Orcs. A custom job. And this is a fiction, so it is a story. If there's one thing a cunning boss needs, it's a good selection of inventive contraptions to rain down death and destruction on the enemy. Luckily, mech boys are uniquely suited to the challenge, and while they may not deal in things that are particularly accurate or reliable, deadly and destructive is usually right up their alley. Under a hail of artillery fire, Warboss Gricknack stomped into the back of the camp where the mechs lived in their ramshackle haven. All about him was pandemonium of metal sheetings, gears, levers, and strange contraptions that intermittently went ping. "What we got here then?" he shouted. "I need them Yumi guns taken out." Orcs scuttled out of their workshops in eyes raw, and one of the senior mechs ran out to meet him. The mech gestured towards the nearest contraption, a Deathcopter engine and blades, to which someone had secured lots of severed arms. Auto Crumper, boss? Gritnark shook his head. Ah! The mech seemed to recognise the connoisseur in Gritnark and tapped his nose, gesturing to the next contraption along. Got a proper custom job for you then. Get boss? Git launcher. Gritnark narrowed his eyes. Git launcher? Proper custom, repeated the mech. 2 smasher guns bolted together. Very fun. Gritnark nodded, uncertainly. Most mech contraptions were fun from a distance. On seeing the nod, the mech clambered up onto a chair mounted on the Git launcher. Bring in the Yumis, he shouted, as he fiddled with the contraption. The cry was taken up as other orcs... Turn the page. As other orcs trickled out from the surroundings to watch. Get the Yumis! Hurry up! Get his head back on! The boss is waiting! Moments later, 2 and a bit guardsmen were dragged into a net over to the contraption. A raucous giggle spread amongst the orcs. The net was quickly grabbed and stuffed into a bowl suspended between the 2 smasher guns. Pull the lever, boss! Shouted the mech to Gritnark. The huge boss orc looked forward and saw a lever, positively humming with energy. Gritnark's iron fist gripped the lever and yanked it downwards. For a second, nothing happened. Then, just as the assembled orcs started to think it was broken, the machine shuddered. There was the merest suggestion of a gloop noise, then a colossal crash and explosion, and the chair that the mech was in flung itself up, propelling the screaming orc far into the distance. As one, the remaining orcs shaded their eyes from the sun, and following his trajectory straight towards the lines of the Astra Militarum. A cheer went up as he landed right on target. Here, mech boy, asked Gritnark, turning to one of the remaining junior mechs. What are you refording? The mech trembled with fright and fell silent. Gritnark surveyed the machine with interest. His eyes followed the complicated tangle of wires and levers as he tried to work it out. Them are counter whatnots, he announced after a long pause, pointing at the guardman. Yeah, sure, counter whatnots, echoed the other orcs, nodding knowingly. It wasn't wise to disagree with the boss. The junior mech visibly relaxed. He giggled nervously, looking up at Gritnark, who gave him an evil, toothy grin and started to laugh along with him. Very good, he announced, slapping the relieved mech on the back so hard that he sank to his knees with a sickening crunch. You done well. Now get in the chair. I want to take another shot. It's a nice little fun mech story. I like doing orcs. I really do like doing orcs. Second orc story. And the final story for this evening. I've left these to the end because, as you can tell, I have fun with these. The old ways. Some orcs will consider utilising any item or approach that keeps them alive and scrapping the longest. But others look down on anything more complicated than a sharp chopper and a blood-curdling scream. These traditionalists prefer to follow the fabled old ways of days gone past, and are nonetheless deadly for it. Amongst the most conservative orcs, an idea has emerged that the youth of today are too spoiled with their flashy technology and reliance on tactics. They yearn for a return to a simpler times and traditions that they call the old ways. However, orcs being orcs, they don't always agree on exactly what counts as the old ways. In fact, if members of a particular tribe or clan claim that they follow the old ways, then anything they do is likely to be justified as being proper orky, whereas anything else is likely to be castigated as being for wimps. Thus, where one tribe might take great pleasure in riding giant beasts into battle, believing this to be the traditional orcish behaviour, another tribe might instead decide that this is newfangled nonsense that takes away from the proper business of personally carving the enemy's skull with a giant chopper. Nonetheless, a rough consensus has emerged that the old ways are based around simple brutality, the merits of being dead hard, and a general mistrust of technology, except when it happens to suit them, of course. I don't know, Jonathan. If I could figure that out, I'd be doing it more often. I really don't know. He still baffles me how I've managed to get more than 5 subscribers. He does. Some of the more traditional of the orcs are the beast snaggers. What could be more orky than trapping and enslaving giant ravenous beasts and then riding them into battle? Nothing, according to the staunch traditionalists who do exactly that. These great preservers of orcish culture are just as warlike as the rest of orcdom, and while they certainly enjoy hunting and trapping giant beasts for the sake of it, it is no coincidence that they often hunt squigs, which give excellent service on the battlefield. Of course, purists would point out that squigs also make for great entertainment and can come in handy as a delicious post-fight snack. That's handy, isn't it? All in one. Nice little battle tool, some form of entertainment, and then when you get hungry at the end of it, something to eat, providing it doesn't eat you first. Lots of talking does make your throat dry, though. It really does. The beast snaggers, as these orcs are named, are very keen on taking trophies from their quarry. But more than a few have had trophies taken from them instead. It's a very young or a very lucky beast snagger who hasn't lost a limb or two in the hunt, and their ranks are full of warriors sporting shiny bionic limbs and other implanted devices, even though they're supposed to be staying traditional to the old ways. When it suits them, yeah, a bit of cyborg body can go in there, that's nice. You do have the most famous of famous beast snaggers as well, which is Mozrog Skragbad. Famed as the monster eater, Mozrog Skragbad is arguably one of the toughest and fightiest orcs alive. Mounted on his famously untamable squig named Big Chomper, Mozrog is one of the great terrors in the universe he's one of the great terrors of the universe all by himself. Few who get in his way survive the onslaught of his many bionic weapons, and those who do are mauled by his squig instead. Now, he is absolutely fantastic. It's kind of based off Moby Dick and Ahab, so it's the great white squig and the giant orc with Claw riding him as well. If I can get that model, I do want one. I do want to run a bit of a beast snag around. I was so excited, looking forward to that. I have absolutely whizzed through it. I have absolutely just whizzed through it. So those are the old ways for the Ark. That is all the reading done, and I probably should have waited to go for that cup of tea. I think I could have probably managed that without it, but oh well. I have done what I have done. So hopefully, eventually, we will be getting. If you can see that there is some little guys on like dirt bikes. Hopefully, we'll be getting them in issue 73. However, in 71, we will be getting a Cadian Command Squad. As I said, I need an extra one. I think I have two. Definitely have one, but I think I have two. A third will just make it up, so I can definitely field enough infantry and send out new orders and enough orders to make them do what I need them to do. We'll also learn about Astra Militarum characters in that one, and we will get a new scenario. That scenario will probably consist of using the Imperial Guardsmen, or the Astra Militarum as they are now called, in a small little mission. In issue 72, which is a week later, so we will get one next week and we will get one the week after, because there is no two-parters on these ones. We're going to get two new paints. Well, we're going to get two paints. We're going to get a White Scar White, which I've got Pro Acryl Titanium White. I'll use that instead. I do not like the Games Workshop Citadel White paint. It is very gloopy. And we're also going to get Iriel Yellow, which is nice because it should be somewhere in between Avalon Sunset and Flash Gates. So it should be somewhere in between these two. If we can just, which one dulls it down? There we go. So yeah, somewhere in between these two yellows. So hopefully it'll fit right in the middle there, and we'll get a nice mid-tone with Iriel Yellow as it comes through. See, it's a little bit more yellowy than this one, which is not showing up very well. But it's not as bright a yellow as the Flash Gates yellow, which is just ridiculously bright yellow, almost as bright as the Pro Acryl one that I've already got. So extra yellows are good. Don't necessarily need the white, but I'm not going to turn it down if it comes. If I get a white, I get a white. Excellent. I'll just put some thinner in it, give it a good shake, and it become a primer or a zenithal paint as I use it. But that, I believe, is everything for these two issues. Now I've been going for an hour and 34 minutes. If anyone has any questions, anyone wishes to ask, like, lads, can you tell me this? Do you want to do that? What we're doing next week? What we're doing this week on Thursday? Any questions like that, please feel free. I'm going to tell you anyway. On Thursday, which is tomorrow, 9:30, usual time for the Magical World of Sparkles and Oak, we have 4 characters remaining. I'm going to try and get either Nothan, the gun-wielding Raven Bird, done, as well as one of the familiars. Definitely I'm going to try and get done. Whether I get the Penguin or Nothan done is a different matter. Can't remember if we've named the Penguin. Did we name the Penguin? I'm going to have to get the book out now and have a look. No, we have not named the Penguin Assassin yet. We have the Ravencrow is Nothan, who is a Bard of Valor. We still have the Critter and the Doug Drake as well to name. Please don't. I'm afraid I've run out of material. I've run out of material, Jonathan. I'll get copyright striked if I actually started doing anything from Games Workshop official, because they don't like you doing that. They really don't like you doing that. But tomorrow we do have at least 2 models to paint. Hopefully 3 if I can manage it. But 2 is my target. Leaving scenery mostly towards the end, so the final layer, and then finish off the bar, and that should be the magical world of Sparkles and Oak done. Apart from, hey up Buzzard, good evening mate, good evening. We have made the change. Graham's the Airy Spud now officially, so you're okay. You're not an Airy Spud no more. It's Graham. Graham's the Airy Spud because he sends gnomes. He sends gnome videos, but I don't like gnomes. He sends 7 of the friggin' things. 7 gnome videos. When I pretty much spent an entire stream telling everybody that I don't like gnomes. I don't trust them. They're dodgy little things. Why has he got a fishing rod sat on a hallucinogenic mushroom in the middle of a garden and no pond? What's he fishing for? Doesn't make sense. And why has that one got a golf club? He's not even on a golf course. Never mind the one that's done on concrete with a shovel. Nope, don't trust gnomes. Do not trust gnomes. Do not trust them at all. Well, yes, tomorrow night is character painting. Seeing as I've named Northan, I think I'll do the penguin, so possibly inspire some of you to come up with a name if I can't. Who knows? We are getting towards the end, Jonathan, yes, and this is the one thing I'm really bad at, is closing off my streams. So I tell you what I'm going to do on the next one, which I've just been doing. And then next week, what do I want to work on next week? Because coming up to Monday, there's a few things that I could potentially work on. I could paint the intercessors. I could do the conversions for the other intercessors. If other things arrive, as Blake mentioned, that I have something coming in the post, it may end up being that, which is a scale model as opposed to a heroic scale model. And something not in my comfort zone, but I feel confident enough that I can do it. Not a worries, Jonathan. Thank you very much for spending your time with me and being just nice in the chat. Thank you very much for talking with us. And yeah, I will catch you on the next one, which is tomorrow. And then obviously Monday after that. Mondays and Thursdays are the ones you can, like, right, Monday 9:30, Thursday 9:30, them ones are going to be staying. Wednesday, with it being the combat patrol over the next 20 weeks, that might come to an end afterwards, because after the 20 weeks I won't be getting it anymore. It's finished. It'll just be going on to the models and musings, or maybe coming its own thing to paint the combat patrols up on Wednesday evenings. We'll find out closer to the time when I actually make that decision. But for tonight, thank you everybody for coming to join me. Beaky, Twisted, Jonathan, Graham, Nadine. Was Nadine in tonight? I'm sure Nadine was in tonight. We also have Vienna. Thank you very much. Nathaniel, thanking you. It's not letting me go down any further. I know there's other people that have been in. Joey, of course. How could I forget Joey? Hello, thank you, Joey. And Ali, of course. Thank you very much for coming in. I do go backtracking through. Blake, of course. How could I forget Blake? And Evelyn. Evelyn, wonderful to have you back in. Thank you very much for coming to join us. Have I missed anyone else? I do not believe so. I do not believe so. But thank you every single one of you for coming in, because it makes it all worthwhile for me and helps me get through my therapy, which is what this is. So please drive safely,